the code's enforcement to halt the modern woman on screen?
Well, if you look at what was censored, then you can infer what was the intent of the censorship. And what happened under the code is that, films about women that dealt honestly with what was going on with women disappeared off the face of the earth. So I think that it was to eliminate the modern woman from the screen, yeah.
Okay. Why was there suddenly a deluge of female talent in 1930?
Okay, well, that one, yeah, that was the nightmare answer. Okay, well, we'll do the slow version because now we have 3 fast versions on there. There were a lot of social changes with women in the 1920s. Women started, women's clothing changed. The dresses moved from the floor up to below the knees, and women got their hair cut, and they started wearing makeup, and they started smoking, which was something that only prostitutes or bohemians did earlier. And also contraception suddenly became available to middle-class women around the mid-20s, so that, so suddenly all these movies were able to be made. I mean, the thing is, when we see a movie like Strangers May Kiss, in which Norma Shearer goes on a sexual rampage through Europe, just hitting every single country, we say, wow, this is, it's pretty modern, actually. Well, it wasn't just it's modern, but it's not just modern, then it was also very new, because this was something that not only, couldn't have been told 15 years before, but in a real way, it could not have happened 15 years before, because without contraception, she would have gotten pregnant in the first country she visited.
All right, let's see. What is the significance of The Divorcee with regard to the American cinema?
The Divorcee is the pivotal film of the pre-code era with regard to women, because it just set the tone, and it opened up a whole bunch of doors. It showed that you can make money dealing with sophisticated subject matter, and it also, because Shearer was considered so respectable as a person, had such a exemplary public image, she was able to go farther than any of the women at the time. But then once that door was open, everybody followed.
All right, good. I think we've got good ones on most of these. Of complicated women.
Oh, okay. Well, probably won't use this, but what the title is about of the book, okay, just us talking here, is Garbo. At the beginning of in the beginning of the 20s, women were depicted according to very rigid ways that were right out of the 19th century. A woman of sexual power was evil if she chose to use her power, and a nice girl, had no idea what was up when it came to sex. And so Garbo was cast as a woman of sexual power who was evil, and she hated it. And Norma Shearer was cast as a woman who was an ingenue and didn't know what end was up, and she hated it. And each of those women strove to make their women more real and more complicated. Garbo turned the vamp into something that was a little bit like a vamp, but was a good person who was kind of a virtuous vamp. And so she made the vamp into someone who was ultimately moral. Norma Shearer, on the other hand, took the ingenue into the bedroom. She showed that it could be completely. She was the first actress to make it completely acceptable to be not a virgin on screen, and yet be unmarried. So they took the stereotypes and made them complicated, and then after them, a whole generation of actresses were liberated to do the same. And it was just, I consider the pre-code era kind of the actress equivalent of the British invasion of rock and roll in the 60s, because you have this generation of incredibly talented innovators who are coming in. They're all ridiculously young. They're all going to be around for a very long time. They're all really good. They're very, very mature. And they're very conscious of themselves as a generation.
Good. Okay, I don't think we'll use the whole thing. I think there's sentences in there we might put into other things that define it.
I'll stand by, I guess, for the next flight.